Hello, it is July 30th and I have finally found my very first Monarch caterpillar. Very, very excited. I found it on my tropical milkweed here that I planted from seeds. This bed did okay. The other one's not quite so good, so I'll try to do a little bit better next year to try to get some more tropical milkweed because it is very pretty. My understanding, it's safer to use it in the colder climates where it completely dies off in the winter as an annual, because it doesn't confuse the butterflies during migration. So I do like to use that, plus extra food for the little guys. When I am looking in my flower gardens, typically this time of year, what I look for is little holes in the leaves. And then usually when you look at the other side of the hole, try this one over here. Hopefully the video is okay. There you find the little babies. So that is what I look for. When I find them this way, all I do is I just put the leaves in a little cage like this. I let them hang out here. And then as they start getting a little bit bigger, I will put the plants in my bigger cages with the vases or the water, more like a plant in there. But I'll just do this for now until these guys get a little bit bigger. So I've found about 3 so far. Yeah, some of the other plants that I do have butterfly weed, or butterfly bush sometimes it's also called. This one's, as you can see, there's like the orange color. I just planted some yellow ones, so hopefully next year this whole bed will be fuller with some more Monarch food. I do have other kinds over here. I have common milkweed, pink swamp. I'm bad about remembering really what I plant, but I do have a couple kinds over here. This is like my milkweed area, and this is where I spend a lot of my time just looking underneath leaves and seeing what I can find. Towards the end of the summer, if I don't have a lot of caterpillars and they're starting to get wilty, if you trim them back, they'll make a little comeback and get a little bit fuller. Some years I've had quite a few caterpillars and they eat just about everything that I have, and then I have to go start walking through trails and stuff to find more food. You do have to be careful if you do that though, because if pesticides are used on those, it can kill your caterpillars. So be careful if you are looking for milkweed out in trails and stuff like that. But that's some of the other places I find food to keep these guys going as they grow. A quick tip while you're looking for your cats, besides looking for holes in leaves, again, usually you find the hole, and usually when you flip you find a little cat. I find the butterflies really like the thinner and tender leaves, the newer leaves. So best places to look are where you have newer growth. The other signs to look for where you might find a caterpillar, on the tops, they do like the tops. Sometimes you'll see a leaf that's nibbled on. I didn't find anybody under here, but those are the places that I look for. So you look for signs of little nibbling, stuff like that. They really don't like the bottoms of the plants too much. So what I do to try to conserve on food during the growing season is I will find them, try to gather them off the smaller leaves, and then as they grow, when I bring in food for them, then I'll start picking off some of these lower stalks. In nature, they may not eat the bigger leaves as much. However, when you're growing limited food for them, if you bring in the bigger leaves on the stalks, it helps give them more food throughout their growing period. Hi, it is August 2nd, and I thought I'd give a progress on the Monarchs. So I found some little guys the other day. I was pretty excited when they're little, especially if I'm in a hurry. Some days I will let them just hang out on leaves like this, but since the leaves are not in water, they do dry out pretty quickly, so I do try to change them and give them new leaves every day. Taking a look at these guys, they're already growing. They do grow quickly. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to start progressing to keeping a little container of water with a plant. I have found that the detergent lids work great for this, especially if you end up giving some caterpillars and stuff later and you don't want to worry about trying to get things back that you use like all your supplies and stuff. So that's a good way to reuse those items. So I just put some milkweed in the container like this, like a little vase. And the easiest thing I find, if you just lay the caterpillars on like that, they will climb up. This way, since this is still a relatively good leaf, they will still munch on that a little bit, but then progress to the new leaf. Again, sometimes I feel like I really need to conserve food because my monarchs eat just about everything that I grow. I'm going to come back over here. I always double check all my other leaves. So I am up to, let's see, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 little caterpillars. I did find one more in the garden today, so they have a new friend. So same thing, I'll just leave the leaf right here on the container. I have these little reptile cages. I like these when my caterpillars are small like this. They do seem to work pretty well. As they get bigger, I do have a progression of different size cages. I have like a medium-sized reptile screen cage. These are my favorite kind of cages to use. I just think they work the best. They look kind of nice on my front porch. It's a fun thing. So as they get bigger, this is the swallowtails from before, where I still have a bunch that are still hanging out in their chrysalis, but that's the swallowtail home. And then later, this one over here will be the monarch home. And the little one I just kind of use in between sizes, I guess like my little nurseries, so to speak. When I was in the garden, I did find a couple more swallowtail eggs. There is a little one right there. There's one over there too. So I'm going to put them in this container like I did before. I always check all my debris in the cages just to make sure I don't miss anything. And like I said, I'm going to hang out. For the first time, I actually found a swallowtail egg on some parsley. That's the first time I've ever found one there. So they'll hang out in there too. And in my garden today, I did find monarch eggs. So I do have these as well now. So I will keep an eye on these as these ones go. If you see just the little dots right there. So I have these variety of different leaves. So because I am comfortable with the different varieties and identifying the different types, I'm okay with just putting them in a container together here until they emerge. When they emerge, they'll stay on their own little leaves that they like. Caterpillars are very particular about their food. So I will just place all these eggs in here, and I will eagerly await for them to emerge. I don't know that it really matters if they're upside down or not, but I find them upside down in nature. So I try to leave them the same way. And I am going to transfer these guys into the baby nursery here and let them hang out in here and munch away. Hi, it is August 4th. Monarch cats are getting bigger. So I'm going to move them to a bigger cage today. They were in the little cage before. I just had basically a little leaf in there that they were nibbling on. And as you can see, they did grow like they're supposed to. So I put them in a bigger jar. By doing it this way, I can add more leaves as they get bigger, because as they get bigger, they will be eating them pretty quickly. I could put a couple branches in there and they will devour them in a day easily. So I'm just getting prepared to let them feast. I just put them in the jar. Again, I do put a little saran wrap over the top of the jar. They do get sneaky sometimes and end up in the water. I do want to avoid that, so that's why I do it that way. When I'm transferring them over, sometimes I will just very gently pick them up and put them on the leaves. It just depends. If I have a leaf that I feel like they're still nibbling on, then I will just put that with the other leaves, and I will just put them in there, and then don't mean to do that. I'll put them on here, and they will crawl and go to the leaves that they choose. And then I'm just going to put them in the cage here. Very carefully, try not to smash anybody. But yeah, so now they have a little bit more space. I have a little bit more room for a bigger jar for bigger leaves. If I get more, I always have a little bit more room to upgrade. For now, I've only found a couple cats. Again, I do have some eggs waiting to hatch. So I will probably just use, as they get bigger, just kind of distribute them between these cages just to give them all some room. Hi, it is August 6th. Monarch cats are munching away and growing. Like I said, it doesn't take very long. They grow pretty quickly. We got two hiding out under here. We've got one hanging here. They go through the leaves that I give them pretty quickly. All this batch right here that you see, I just gave them this morning and they munched away. So I am going to move them to my bigger cage that I have here again, just so I can give them longer, bigger leaves to munch on. I think partly why I like using the smaller ones when they're littler is to kind of keep track of them better too. But as they get bigger, they are going to eat away. So I am giving them more space, and we're going to continue to watch them grow. Again, I have about 6 of them in here. My eggs have not hatched yet. I'm eagerly keeping an eye on those, so when they hatch, we'll follow those guys too. Hi, it is August 8th and Monarch caterpillar eggs have hatched. So if you see these little guys, I know they're hard to see because they are really small. This is actually a very slight magnification. I didn't want to go too much bigger because then it started getting fuzzy. So I'm going to move these guys out of their little container into their next home. As you can see, I've already started. I have my container, my little water container that is covered with a monarch plant in it. What I do with these guys, because they are so little, I find it easier just to kind of lay the leaves as they emerge onto the plant. As soon as they come off, then I'll take off the plant or the old leaf that dries up. It's easy to spot. But I already have a couple on here, and so like I said, I just lay these right on here. They do a really good job crawling off. You can very, very carefully take them off, like with a little toothpick or like a little wooden skewer. Does work well. I find that this is just easier, and I just let them do their routine. Again, I just think it's easier. That's really the real reason for it. Easier is better as far as I'm concerned. But since these guys are so little, I will put them in the cage that I had before. I will put the screen over the top. Got a little leaves kind of flopping over. That's okay. I will just flip them back up here. Like I said, they will do a really good job crawling to where they need to go. Then my other monarchs, the bigger kids that are growing, are munching away over here, and I will just give them some fresh leaves so that they can keep munching. So I have a fresh vase full of leaves for these guys to crawl all over. Again, these guys are just my favorite. I think they are so cute. Their little stripes. I admit I love to play with them sometimes. I like to let them crawl on my fingers. I can't explain it. I just think they are super cute and super fun. They're not going to get really active today. Sometimes when you give them fresh milkweed, they get really excited. If you ever are transplanting them or moving them to a different leaf, if you just gently lift, they're a little bit more sturdy than you think, but I just gently lift them, and they just kind of lift right off. They do get really excited with the new leaves. That's the part that I think is just really cute. Have I said enough how cute I think these guys can be? And sometimes they're just happy hanging out on your finger. Sometimes I'll give them just a little nudge. He's going to kind of crawl, move around. I have no way of identifying if a caterpillar is a male or female. I don't know if it's possible. I have not researched that enough. But there they go. I just think it's so cute when they move around and find new spots. I really don't move them too often. I let them, I don't like to disturb them much. I mean, there is that risk of squishing them, and of course I don't want to do that. Also, sometimes I try not to move them too quickly off the old leaves, because knowing that they are going to devour everything is kind of conservative thing too. Let them munch up the older leaves before they discover and find the newer, fresher leaves that I put in there for them. But believe me, they will find it and they will munch, as that is what caterpillars do. Hi, it is August 9th, and as I mentioned yesterday, these guys are going to eat just about everything. So if you remember all those leaves I gave them yesterday, they have eaten them already. And this is just with 6 cats. Some summers I've had 15, 20, even more cats. Numbers are a little bit down this year, but I have been finding them. So my little guys are getting a little bit bigger too for my eggs that just hatched the other day. So they're eating away. Give me a second. I'm going to go ahead and give these guys some fresh food. Alright, so I have the new plant in. I have a nice big full one today because they will eat pretty quickly. Since these ones are getting a little bit bigger, I just took them off the plant. I'm going to put them on the new plant. Summer Happiness is a handful of caterpillars. These guys are active. They are ready for some more food. And this is some of my favorite times with them. Just if I haven't mentioned in my other video, I just think these guys are so cute. And so I just put them on the leaves. It's my excuse to play with them a little bit. But I am gentle because I don't want to squish them. Whoop. I did have one loose leaf, but I'll go ahead and put the caterpillars back on. Even though the leaf is loose, it will be eaten before it dries up. I think it is so cute when they get on the leaves because they get active. See if we can get someone to... I think it's cute when they reach up for the leaves. Let's see what we get them to do. We hear our neighbor dog Bristol going for a walk. Hi, Bristol! Well, we're going to get these guys back on the plants. And we'll be back when they start working on chrysalis. Up, if you look, see? I think they're just so cute when they walk around. Look at this guy. He's kind of, where is my food? And there he goes. Hi, it is August 12th. We have one remaining monarch cat hanging out on the plant. Everybody else is working on their chrysalis. So if you look at the J curl, as you call it, so they attach themselves to the cage. They make a little J, start to curl up. And eventually they're going to make their chrysalis. They spin like a little web, sticky type substance. This one you can kind of see where it has the attachment. But typically they like to climb up. Every now and then, if I could show you, if you see him, you get someone that likes to just go to a different spot. This one's just hanging out below the door of the cage. That is okay too. In nature, you always find them, you can often find them in crazy places too. I really have not ever found any in nature. It's just something I've not been fortunate enough to do just yet. I always see my hatchings and emergences from things that I have collected. So pretty soon they will be in their chrysalis here. They'll start out green. They'll change colors as they go along, so we'll show you that too. But kind of getting exciting. I think what's amazing to me is at one point their bodies turn to complete liquid before they reemerge as a butterfly. So science and nature is amazing. It truly is beautiful. So we'll keep you posted on what these guys do. Okay, August 12th still, just a little bit later in the day. Chrysalises have been formed. The newer chrysalis have this green color. On this one, you can see the gold band that I think is really pretty. As these move along, when they get ready to emerge, they'll turn black and then clear, and then you'll see the butterfly come out. This guy is still deciding what they want to do. We've got a couple hangers here, and then the one over here by the door was in their chrysalis as well. So this batch is all either in their chrysalis or well on their way. Good morning. It is August 25th, and we have a chrysalis that's getting ready to emerge. You can see the wings starting to poke through. Sorry if there's a little glare. The morning sun's a little bright this morning. But we did have to head out of town for a couple days, so I didn't get to quite catch how this one looked as it was starting to get black. As they get ready to emerge, the chrysalis will start to get darker, almost black, and then they'll start to get transparent like this one, so you can see the wings through it. If you look back with these ones over here that are just about ready, the tips of it you can tell are getting darker. Look how pretty it is in the morning, though. Morning sun, though. I'm not sure if the camera's catching it, where you see it reflecting off the gold band on the chrysalis. Just so pretty. And then we have down here, hopefully I can catch it with my video, someone that just came out. So this one has emerged and crawling and working to come on out. Since its wings are wet, I don't want to do anything to handle it. I just want to let this one do what it does. But there we go. This one has just come out. You can see the wings are all wrinkled. They're pretty wet. And he's just working on crawling out. And of course, the silly is right by the door of my cage. They love to go in places like that. But this one's just kind of crawling, and this is one of my favorite parts, just the newness of them. And let it, you know, when they emerge, they like to look around for a place to hang to dry. Look what I'm going to do at the very least, since it's morning here. I'm not going to touch its wings. I'm just going to see if he'll crawl on my finger. And look at that. With a butterfly that's newly emerged, if you just put your finger right underneath their legs, they'll typically hang on. And there we go. I do not want to touch the wings, though. Again, they're wet and they need to hang and dry. What I am going to do, though, because this one decided to make its chrysalis in the lower part of the cage, I'm just going to find a nice place on a bush or something like that for him to hang and dry. Or her. I don't know yet what it is. I can't see until the wings open up a little bit better. There's a little dot on the wings that does signify a male versus a female. And again, without touching its wings, it likes both my fingers here. Without touching its wings, I'll go to a nearby plant, let it hang on. Try to get a better angle here for you to watch the. Sometimes they just kind of hang on to you. Sometimes they're excited about the new plant. And there it goes. Oh, nope, this one is going to decide it likes to be on me. I've got a little flower right here. We're just going to let this guy crawl up. Up, up. That one liked that plant better. There we go. There's a plant with a little nectar here if he wants, or sometimes they'll just dry out and then fly away and do their thing. Very, very fun. This is my favorite part. I'm not sure if you can see it, that little curly thing that's coming out, that is their tongue, which I think is super cute. Who knew that a tongue could be cute, right? I think it is. But anyway, well, we're just going to let this one hang out. Maybe if it dries out a little bit more and opens up its wings some more, I can help you identify if it's a male or female. The males have 2 dots on their wings. It doesn't look like it does from here, from what I can tell, so I'm thinking this is probably a female. As it just kind of hangs down there. Okay, so a little bit later in the day, as I mentioned earlier, the chrysalises are going to start getting darker, and they have. So they're got the very dark black color. You can still see the pretty gold bands on them as well. But these guys will probably be coming out tomorrow morning, so we'll take a look at it and see what they do tomorrow. We have new butterfly today. So yesterday morning, those black chrysalises that I showed you were still not emerged, so when I left for work, I just left the cage open so those guys could leave. I didn't want them to be stuck in the cage all day while I worked, so they could go out and find some nectar. But we have this one. I'm trying to see. It looks like we might have a female. I don't see the black dots. Males have black dots like on the mid side of their wings. Up there she goes. I don't know if you can see her. She is off. Have a good day.